This Coast to Coast Entertainment Network program is brought to you by Beside Me Bracelets. Our bracelets are handmade for any occasion. Use the promo code Coast to Coast for 15% off. Visit their website at besideme.com. Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry. With 24-hour shopping available, use the code 160920 and show her some love, like she showed us. Reaper Apparel Company, a commitment to live your most authentic way every single day. Visit reaperapparelco.com for more information and a look at all of their apparel offerings. And by Good Day Embroidery, your local source for custom embroidery, screen printing, and more. Log on to gooddayembroidery.com for more information.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to, it's been a while since I've been back, but Entertainment Hour, along with my co-hosts, Chris B. Bacon or Chris Mabry, Dragon Viper tonight, and I'm James Gonzalez. I'll ask Dragon Viper, how are you tonight?
Still fighting pneumonia, but it's starting to get better. So that's all I can ask for is for improvement and get better. And I'm still here on this show, so doing good.
Anyway, thank you for playing through the pain. Man, it seems like my headache won't go away. It's been a week now, and I'm trying to think, what the hell is it? The weather? Anything wrong with you?
No.
How are you?
No, I'm doing good. Just going through a heat wave of temperatures, but other than that, not too bad.
I thought you were going to say something else about heat and going through something. But you're not supposed to go through that later in your 40s and 50s.
And what's funny is the fact he's dealing with heat over there, and we're close to getting snow and everything else. So,
oh wow, we got rain coming down here in San Diego County, and it's okay, it's fine. It gives me a chance to nap and work on other stuff indoors, so I'm fine with that. Chris, so let's get to our schedule for the Coast to Coast Entertainment Network for the week, and I'll tell you what, there's a lot of great stuff happening. Of course, dates and times are subject to change, so keep that in mind. Press Row with Callum McClurg every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday at 3 p.m. Pacific time. I believe he's going to be out until the 5th for that, so look out for March 5th. I was commenting on his show on Wednesday, I believe it was, or Thursday. I think it was Thursday. I don't know where I've been. Anyway, Thursday, he had some great points about women's basketball and all sorts of sports topics. He goes through it all, like behind the scenes of what goes on, not in the games, but behind the scenes in those leagues. It's very interesting. He's very knowledgeable, and of course, he does the commercial readings, the ad readings for all the ads that we have here on Coast to Coast. So it's great to have a professional voice hosting shows and having the voice to lend. Bro Code on Mondays at 10 p.m. This Monday, Callan was just hosting, and I chimed in, or I came in, chimed in. It was a long show, but I think we basically reviewed what he did on Press Row, so that was pretty cool. CTC Rank 'em on Tuesdays at 7 a.m. Pacific time. Some very interesting topics they get into, and all the top ranks they have. I can't wait to see what they come up next. That's Big B and Ted Hendricks there. Between the Ropes, you can see these two here on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. There's always something going on in the world of wrestling, on and off in the ring and outside of the ring. I think I got that right. So yeah, and we were just talking about it before, how the Netflix deal will go in a year, and there'll be more to talk about. Sports Minute on Wednesdays at 9 p.m. You can also check out Chris there, Big B, Adam, Callan when he's available and when I'm available. Creeping It Real every other Thursdays at 5 p.m. They had a house full of people, I believe, on Thursday. It was like 5 or 6 people I saw.
Yep.
I saved it, so I'm gonna eventually watch that, but with the lights off too. I'm gonna see if I get scared. Entertainment Hour, you're here right now. Fridays, that's normally 7 p.m. We took an hour later. We said, yeah, let's have dinner. 8 p.m. So that's today. On deck will come, I believe, the middle of this month, as we say Happy March to everyone. Make your steps now at 10 a.m. Pacific. It'd be me and Chris and whomever wants to join in. We'll be talking about the MLB season coming up. Should be a fairly interesting season, kind of overran by the favorites, I would say. Morning tailgate on Sundays at 8 p.m., 8 Pacific time. With the NFL ending, there's always the season, I mean, but there's always some type of news coming on, draft, free agencies coming up very soon. Then the draft, and then training camp before you know it will be here. So there's always something to talk about. So please enjoy the shows we have on our schedules. DM us if you have any questions about the shows. Also, if you want to join too, you have to get through the committee here. It's just us, but you know what I mean. All right, so there was some unfortunate news. I think yesterday morning, and it was the death of actor Richard Lewis, who passed away. Oh no, I'm sorry, it was Tuesday night. I thought it was Thursday night, at age 76. Because of a heart attack. It was Tuesday. That's right. He was a funny man with his stand-up comedy. I was just watching it before I came on. He did the late night circuit. So back then in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, it was, Letterman, Carson, Leno, O'Brien. He was going through all of them. So he was in the circuit. He talked. What's funny, like I never really got into his comedy until today, really, because I went back and I watched it, and there's like some similarities with my personal life, and it's like, crap, that's crazy. I don't know if you guys feel this way or somewhat, but I feel like I miss out on someone until they're gone, and then I go back and I watch something or learn something about him and realize, oh shoot, I should have, had a chance to meet him. I should have cared about him more. I should have watched more of their programming or whatever they did, their act. So I'm going to probably do that for the next couple of days and see what happens. He talked about in his stand-up comedy how he grew up mostly disappointed his family, or they were disappointed with him being from the New York area. He had situations about that. And kind of like me, a known hypochondriac, where you're just going crazy off and on about situations. You don't know what to do here, don't know what to do there. And Lewis had that ability to paint that picture for us every time with all the crazy situations. He was a great sports fan, NBA fan. He was at a lot of Laker games, Clipper games, Knick games, MLB, a lot of Yankee games from New York, of course. Probably NFL games too, who knows? But he was a great sports fan. He was an avid sports fan. Whenever in town, I know he would go to games. And then his work on Curb Your Enthusiasm with lifelong friend Larry David was classic stuff. Now, I haven't been able to watch much of that, but I've seen bits and pieces, not with him in it, though. And I'm kind of wondering, should I go back and watch it? Because I think this is the last season of it, I want to say. So maybe I'll go back and find that. Just Hollywood, just know this. He was beloved in Hollywood by pretty much everybody. I never heard a bad word about him. And as the tributes poured in the last couple of days, everybody, I think, has felt the same way. Now, luckily, Randy, brought this to my attention. I read the report that he passed away, but then Randy brought it back to me. So, Dragon Viper, what did you think about Richard Lewis here? How did he, what did you watch of his, and how will he be remembered to you?
I honestly did not know he was a stand-up comedian. The only thing that caught my attention was the fact that, I mean, the name sounded familiar. And I saw a recent picture of him, and he looked familiar. I did watch a show that he, was on 9 episodes from I read 02 to 04. And that was Seventh Heaven. And I did watch
Really?
that show. I still watch it to this day. But he was on there, and that honestly, that's the only thing I knew. I went through this list, and there's a few things that I did end up watching that I didn't realize he was on there. I mean, you have I think it's Limp Bizkit's music video Break Stuff. I've watched that music video multiple times, and I didn't even catch he was on there. And then 2.5 Men, I did watch that. Did not realize he was on there either, even though it was one episode. So there's all these things, some of these shows that I've watched that I didn't even realize he was on, and I didn't know he was a stand-up comedian until my mom said something. So, the only way I recognized him was because of Seventh Heaven. So I mean, and I liked him in that show. So, that's how I remember him, just that show. And then now I'm gonna have to go back through all the other shows that I've seen and Limp Bizkit's music video and see him in it now. So, I mean, he was a good actor from what I saw. So, and he will be missed.
You know what? I got to look at that too, because I don't think I've ever seen the video. And then I just know he was in things. He was in a lot of different shows or movies. He always had a spot in them. Like, it was very little, it was very small, whatever the case was. But you knew what he looked like. The long hair, the low face with the low jaw, the big fingers, always wore black in his comedian days and later on. So I just knew every time he was on Leno back then, I was like, oh, that's that one guy. But never really, actually listened or watched his stuff. But, it's almost... Not everybody does the same act, but you almost feel that way with Richard. But then he took it to a whole nother level sometimes with David Letterman. So I've heard some things on there recently. Crispy Bacon, I don't know if you heard of Richard Lewis, but have you recognized him from anything? And then how do you think he'll be remembered?
I haven't heard from it. I can't speak. Heard of him? I mean, I'm looking at what he's done, and a lot of very popular shows. He was, like you said, Seventh Heaven he was on. He was also part of George Lopez and The Simpsons, Everybody Hates Chris.
I do remember him on Simpsons. I do remember him now on there. Oh yeah.
So yeah, he was on very well known, shows, and I think local comedy club here kind of paid tribute to him because he's been down here before. But you don't know, who they are until something like that, happens, and it's sad.
Yeah, it was just out of the blue, and I know he was, older, and he wasn't doing as many things. But also, Chris, if we have any comments, let me know or put it on there. Say, Chrissy Wilson here mentions, I remembered him from the movie Robin Hood Men in Tights. That's something I've never seen, but I've heard of it, of course. I think one day I'll go back to it. And I believe Dave Chappelle was in that movie, I want to say. Which is, kind of odd at the time. But yeah, looking at, Robin Hood is there, Curb Your Enthusiasm. He was on a sitcom, Anything But Love. I've never heard of that. just a bunch of movies, a bunch of random TV shows as well. He made his appearances in. I'll leave it at this with the quote from his wife. Now, he'd always talk about in his stand-up where it took him a long time to find his wife, like a special one. Someone, I forget whom, but gave him some special advice when he was driving somewhere in Hollywood, wherever it was. He was following this woman around with his car, trying to get a stop and to talk to her. It turned out being his girlfriend. And then someone, I forget whom it was, but they said, "Hey, that's a sign you should marry her." So Joyce, his wife, mentions on X saying, "Yeah, this is Joyce Richards' wife. Thank you for the love and tributes. He would be beyond thrilled and so touched as I am." And he also mentioned, "I know Richard would appreciate donations to his memory for the LA-based charity ComedyGivesBack.com or the charity of your choice." So you could tell that they were really hospitable, giving with those two, with that couple there. So Comedy Gives Back nonprofit, and already there's a lot of celebrities that have gone on there and donated something. I know Larry David loved him as well. They would work together. They would speak alike, so they were together. So we thank you, Richard Lewis, for his time on Earth and the joy and laughter he brought us through his unfortunate life of not trying to find love or trying to find peace in his situations. And I think he found that with his wife and whatever else. So thank you, Richard, for your life, and thank you for entertaining us. All right, so let's get to some interesting topics, and this is most Dragon Viper. So thank you for the topics here. It was like Wednesday night, and I was like, oh my God, the hell are we going to talk about? What are we going to do to jazz up this show a little bit? But this topic came to me from Dragon Viper here, and I love one-hit wonders. I really do. I love having the useless knowledge of knowing what year, sometimes what album, wherever it came from, the song, and how good it did, and how good they did not do after that for the artist. So I love this because it's a top 5 or top 10, your choice, of favorite one-hit wonders. Since it's your topic, Dragon Viper, I'll start off with you. What's your top 5 or 10 list of one-hit wonders?
Now, you mentioned that you love one-hit wonders, and so do I. I wrote down a list, and I scratched off several because I'm just like, no, I'll do this one. No, I'll do this one. So, anyway, at number 1, I said "Runaway Train" by Soul Asylum.
Yes.
From '93. Number 2, you Get What You Give by New Radicals, and that was from 1999. I really love that song. They even had it on the movie Click. 3, now this is, if anybody knows anybody, they know that they like this song, even if they don't want to admit it. Ice Ice Baby by Vanilla Ice in 1980. If anybody sits there and says they don't like it, they're lying, because everybody at least likes this song. So yes, number 3 is Ice Ice Baby. Number 4, Spirit in the Sky by Norman Greenbaum, 1969, and it was on The Longest Yard. That's how I heard it for the first time. Number 5, Cotton Eye Joe from Rednecks, just because I love that song. Number 6 is Tub Thumping by Chumbawamba, 1997. Used to hear it in school. I would hear it a lot while I was skating at the community center. Number 7, I'll Be There For You by the Rembrandts, 95, friends, you know. Number 8, yeah, I'm sad to say this, but Macarena by Los
Hey,
Del
Macarena.
I
Rio. And I have done that dance too, so just
Oh
put
yeah, I
it
remember doing that
out.
in elementary school, I think.
Number 9, I put it's two different versions. It's a German version, I think it's German, and it's English version. So I wrote both the titles on there. 99 Love Balloons or
Oh yeah,
99
yeah.
Red Balloons, however you want to listen to it. I think the other one is German, by Nina. And number 10 is Unbelievable by EMF from 1990. And of course, you know, when I do top 10 lists, I have to have honorable mentions. The first one is Stay by Lisa Loeb,
Oh yes.
from 1994, if I could read my writing. Second honorable is Du Hast by Rammstein in 1998. They were a one-hit wonder in the U.S. Other countries, no, but in the U.S., so I counted them as one. And the last one is Steal My Sunshine by Len, 1999. So I enjoy, like I said, I love one-hit wonders, and I had a hard time even doing this list because I love a lot of them.
I was gonna, yeah. When you speak of Lynn and that song, I believe one of the members just passed away the
Yeah.
other day, or a couple of months ago, or a month ago. I want to say, man, it just shows you how time has flown because I remember that song on the radio all the damn time, and now they use it for like Sonic food commercials.
Yep.
It's funny how in commercials you start hearing those songs from the past, and it's considered like almost oldies now to people. But to me, I'm like, no, don't say that,
Well,
because
see, so I know someone who listens to the oldie station all the time, and I'm listening to the radio, and there's a few songs on the oldie station that were popular in '99, and I'm like, no,
oh,
no, it's too soon to be on the oldie station. Absolutely not. So yeah, it's sad.
yo, that reminds me. Before I moved to Chris, in LA, there's a popular oldie station. It's a Kareth 101, and growing up, I grew up, in a sock hop, kind of restaurant. It was down the street, so I'd go there all the time. So they always had, 50s, 60s music going. So that's what I grew up on.
Mhm.
And then little by little, whenever I'd come visit, I noticed, oh, they're getting closer to when I was born. And then now it's like, oh, the best of the late 70s, 80s, and then we're going to tease you with 90s, and then we're going to get a little bit into the year 2000, 2001. I'm like, hell no. When I heard Alanis Morissette on that station, I was like, or NSYNC or something, I was like, I'm done.
Yep.
There's no reason for radio anymore.
I would have been like, I'm old, but I'm not that old.
Right.
It was Semisonic Closing Time.
I love that one too.
That song came out in 97 or 98, I believe. And it was on the oldie station. I'm like, no.
Oh God.
So
if you're
old, but I'm not that old.
If you're a fan of The Office, Stanley, the character in that show, loved that song, not because of the song, just because he knew it was almost 5 o'clock and it was time to leave the office. So I always remember that when that song comes up. Or bars would play it,
Yep.
before literally before closing time. They turn on the lights, they play like country music, or they'll play that song. So gather up your jackets, move it to the exits. I hope you have found a friend. Chris, what's your 5 or 10 top 10 one-hit wonder?
I think I have a good list. A lot of them, maybe a lot of people have heard of. You got Macarena. Who Let the Dogs Out?
That was
Mambo
huge.
number
Yeah,
5.
that was too.
Jenny, 8675309.
I forgot that one.
Funky Town.
Shrek.
Yeah. Ice Ice Baby. Achy Breaky Heart.
Oh yeah. That was everywhere.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you right there. I don't know how Billy Ray Cyrus in that song is a one-hit wonder. I don't know, because he is a top singer, country music singer. How that became him becoming a one-hit wonder, that I don't understand. Anyway,
Just
go
in
ahead.
the pop world, I guess.
Probably.
There was nothing to ever get to that level. But in the country world, I'll be honest with you, I've never heard another song by him.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, he's had several top songs after that one, so that's why I saw that on the list. I'm like, how? Anyway, go on.
Kung Fu Fighting. And then I guess you can add it to the list or honorable mention. Smash Mouth All Star.
yeah,
I
guess that was the biggest of theirs. But they had like 2, 3, 4 other ones that I know of.
they had about 7 that went out.
Yeah.
So
I think the lead singer died last year, I want to say.
He did.
Yeah, I forgot his name, but once you hear that voice, you know who the hell it is. That's what I love about that.
yeah.
That was a good list, Chris. Wow. You have any more? Or
That's it.
Okay. So mine, I did a 90s edition. I figure that's what I kind of grew up with. My ears kind of perk up when I hear something like that. Also 2000s too, but I didn't have enough room for 2000s. So my 90s edition is Stay, I Missed You, Lisa Loeb. Almost every day on her Sirius XM, she's a DJ. I'll listen to her, and she still sounds the same. Similar interests that her and I have, cooking and life and all that music. So I still listen to her after all these years. It's crazy. Blind Melon's No Rain. I know they have another hit, but it wasn't as big as No Rain. And I think about it all the time because whenever, like a baseball game tries to happen, but then there's rain. So you play that hoping there is no rain. So I remember that. And then, yeah, Semisonic's Closing Time. I just love it because of how I mentioned with The Office and bars, knowing that, hey, it's probably time to go. Black Velvet by Alana Miles. For some reason, years ago, I heard it for the first time. I was like, this is cool. It's different than everything else.
I love
she was like Tennessee, I think from Tennessee. So she tried to add a little like Elvis theme to it, I think, but her style. So that attracted me to that song for sure. Sunny Came Home by Sean Colvin. Now I know this is a one-hit wonder because I never heard her do anything else. And for some reason I really like that song. What's Up by Four Non Blondes. I'd always hear it at certain things. And so I'm always remembering that song. And then the lead singer of that group actually helped Pink find herself and let her like write whatever she wanted, play guitar in the background. So there's a little connection there to the 2000s. So, that song is really good. Tag Teams, Whoop, There It Is. You used to hear it everywhere, sporting events, among other places. So I still love hearing it whenever I can. Okay, I'm gonna curse, but it's actually it's okay. Literally the song is called "Bitch" by Meredith Brooks.
Yeah, my cousin loved that song.
For some reason, I do too. I think mostly because it kind of pissed off the religious crowd when she talks about God trying to make his way home on the bus or something.
No,
For
that's
some
a different
reason,
song.
is it?
Yes,
Oh, I'm sorry. That's the next one I'm getting to. Duh,
but
I'm
if God
sorry.
was
I'm sorry.
one of us was the song.
That's Joan. Yeah, that's One of Us by Joan Osborne. I'm sorry. Yeah, that was the next one I'm coming up with. So because of that song, those reasons I like that song. You mentioned you get what you get what you give by New Radicals. I literally play it every. Well, I think in the real world, if you have Fridays off or the weekend off, that's a Friday song. It's instantly a Friday song. But when I was working, I would play it that night or that day, knowing that hey, I have the next day off or the next 2 days off, whatever the case was. So that song I always knew to be like a happy song. So I'll play that on. Some other ones, The Breeders, Cannonball. I really enjoyed that song. The bass line to it, the video. Kate is just awesome in that. I know she's part of the Pixies, but she broke off her and her sister to do that song. That was truly a one-hit wonder in the rock music world. Bittersweet Symphony, you hear it everywhere. And that was their only hit, pretty much.
It was.
I really enjoy that song. Then the next one I will sing out loud drunkenly, but it's Brick by Ben Folds 5.
I haven't heard that.
I literally know all of the lyrics on that. It's a really sad song. It's about, a man or young kid and a young man and a young woman. I don't know if I can say this on YouTube or whatever, but she gets an abortion and the guy's out there feeling guilty about it, so that song, it goes deep there. So some other that was the only songs I could put so much more, but I just broke it down with the 90s there. So Dragon Viper, I know you had a couple more lists here. Thank you for that. You have your top 5 celebrity birthdays of the day. And I should have looked this up too, but I'm assuming you have those.
Yep.
All right, go ahead, man.
Yeah. So here's the top 5 celebrity birthdays for today that I happened to look up. So number 1 is I can't even talk now. Mark Paul Gosselaar.
Zach Morris.
Saved by the Bell as Zach Morris. He's turning 49 today.
Damn.
Then I'm all over the board with these lists today, so I'm.
No, it's good.
It's all good.
Great.
Big E from the WWE. He's turning 37 today.
Oh wow.
Booker T. I had to have him in there from WWE.
Wow.
He's turning 58 today.
I can see it.
And of course, for those that happen to like Justin Bieber, I don't, but I just happen to run across his name. He's turning 29 today. So for those that like Justin Bieber, be happy he's turned 29 today. I don't know.
Let me say something about Justin real quick. I saw him recently before. I think it was yesterday. He was playing drums at an event or whatever. He looks better now than what he used to. Hollywood really, sucked him in, and I know he's got a wife and all that now. But man, the way literally the entertainment business has really destroyed his look, his life. It looks so bad than when he first came over here to sing those songs that I think Dragon Viper really loves, unless he doesn't.
Would he be
I
One
admit
Hit
I like
Wonder?
one song, but the
I'm
rest
just
of it
kidding.
is annoying, especially when he was a kid.
That's what I hear.
And then we have director Ron Howard, who
Oh wow.
I put down one movie that he did, which was How Grinch Stole Christmas.
He's got to be 78.
Huh?
75.
He's 78.
His age?
Yeah.
No. 69.
I think he was older. Well, okay.
But
I know he's
anyway,
done so many great movies, man. He's awesome.
he turned 69, and I had one honorable mention because I needed a woman singer in there. Kesha.
Wow.
I
Who's
remember
big
her.
for the song TikTok.
Oh yeah.
That's a
about the
social
song,
media.
not about the app.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I remember that
She
song.
turned 36 today. So
Damn.
happy birthday to all of them.
She's had her run-ins just like Justin Bieber with Hollywood. And she's
Yeah.
trying to get back. I followed her on social media, but you could tell, like, yeah, all the years of partying, literally what she
Yep.
was writing in her songs, literally has caught up to her. You could just tell the way she looks. I didn't realize she was that old, but I think everything takes a toll on you, and you look even older than what you are. I remember she wrote songs for Flow Rider.
Yeah.
You know, when he became popular, and then she became popular, and then that pretty much petered out.
I honestly didn't know I thought she was younger than 36.
Me too.
She's only 3
I
years
thought
younger
so,
than
yeah.
me. So
So I'm sorry, who was the first one again?
first one was Mark Paul Gosselaar.
Okay. He's probably the favorite of all of all the ones, just because I grew up watching Saved by the Bell. The ability to like make everybody freeze when he said time out in the show. The coolest person in that. Man, hearing Kesha is like, damn, and Bieber too. Reminds you of a time 10 plus years ago. And Booker T, I can remember him, of course, for his, not really his wrestling, but that moment he had when he said he was coming for Hulk Hogan, and he used the word only he can use, which wasn't
And he's the five-time WCW champion, sucker. Oh.
Hulk Hogan, we coming for you.
I saw that one, yeah.
Everybody, it's okay. I just love that moment. Out of all the birthdays Randy mentioned, Chris, who's your favorite person out of all them? Bieber.
No. Talked about Kesha's, age and how we thought she was younger or something like that. That's probably the most surprising.
Yeah.
Not sure about the others, but that kind of surprised me a little.
And also, next topic here Randy had, it's the top 10 list. If you could spend a day and have dinner with one celebrity, it could be a mix of singers, actors, athletes, etc. Whom would it be? And this one I had to stay up for a while and think of. Just all the people I'd literally either learn from, or I'd be entertained by, or literally I would just listen to all day, talk about whatever. So I had a fun list. I'll start off with you, Dragon Viper, because I know you're out there. I'm just wondering who your list would be, because I had a hard time with mine after a while.
Again, all over the board here. So first one I chose, and I went off of reading about celebrities, how they treat people, how they, at restaurants, how they treat the waitresses and waiters. So there were people that I wanted to pick, but then I'm like, not really, because if I'm reading stories about how these people are, I'm not going to pick them. So I went all over the board with this, but first one has to be my first celebrity crush of all time, Alyssa Milano. Second one, my first country singer crush, Leanne Rimes. And then I went with Cody Rhodes. I would like to spend the day with him. Nia Jax from the WWE. Yeah, you look a little confused, James.
Right.
But yeah, Nia Jax would be one. Dak Prescott. Jennifer Aniston. Adam Sandler. George Strait. Let's see, Stephen King, just because I think he's a writing genius, and I'd
Which
like
one?
to
Which one?
talk to him and get to hear if he's got any other stories. Here's some stories from him, and not just read about it. And then Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Not Michael P. Jordan or whatever his name is, but Michael Jordan. And Carrie Underwood. And then of course my honorable mentions. Yeah, my mom doesn't like Cody very well. But my honorable mentions is Randy Orton. I know he should have been at the top of the list more, but I had so many in my head. Eminem, Chuck Norris, and country singer Sammy Kershaw. So
I've heard of that guy. I heard some of his songs on Sirius.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I like I said, it was all over the board, and I just had to. So, but yeah, especially Eminem and Randy Orton, and so.
Who was the other one you mentioned? Honorable mention? I forget.
I said Randy Orton, Eminem, Chuck Norris.
Oh, Chuck Norris. So I heard him like on the Instagram reel the other day. He mentioned something about like clearing his mind so he can get another thing, get whatever you need done or whatever. He was breaking it down. So I figured that'd be someone good to learn from. Now, if you saw him in the 80s, 90s, or wherever, he'd just be kicking everything. He'd just whooping everybody's ass, whatever the case is. You have a good mix there.
Kick down the door kicks down him. Like that.
That was one thing he mentioned, but with how your mind should be in a situation, he flips something. Now that you say that, Chris, I got to look that up again. Chris, what's your top 10 list if you spend a day and have dinner with a celebrity?
It would be John Madden.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey. Ooh. We'll go Jordan. We'll go we'll go Stephen King. Man, it's difficult. We'll go at 5, and we'll go Jim Nance. I don't know. We'll go 5.
Yeah, voices there. Yeah, Jim.
Yeah.
He's done a lot. I think he's retiring this
From
March
golf,
or
I think.
that too. But I think for March Madness, I think this is his last March or last year was.
I thought last year was.
I think it will. Yeah, you're right. So I'm wondering if Kevin Harlan will be on that, but I've always liked him. I remember when he hosted.
Kevin Harlan will be another one too.
Yeah, there's broadcasters on my list that I love. Well, that's a pretty good list there. So mine, I have too many. Like, there's a lot of honorable mentions. Let's just say that. In no particular order. Sidney Poitier, I would love to talk to, chat with. Seeing how he acted. It was almost the same role in every movie, but it was so much class in it. So I just really respected the hell out of that. So I learned a little from him, just how to be and how to talk, whatever the case is. Walter Payton, I could learn some things from him, like how to never die easy, motivation. I could learn so much from him because he's my favorite football player of all time. Charles Barkley, because I need someone to, make me laugh, make me think, have crazy, takes or comments. See how many times I get it wrong. But I always heard if you know him, he's a great drinking partner. And he calls himself the Blue Eyes of karaoke, but it's not so good. But I think karaoke would be cool with him too. Just knowing that someone is worse than I would be there. Hell yeah, I'll do that. Vince Scully, I could just listen to him all day talk about anything. He was a famed MLB broadcaster with the Dodgers and did other things as well. TV shows, movies. I could hear him talk forever. So I would love to spend a day or dinner with him. Because I know I would get stories galore. And then how nice he is. I could easily, vibe with that. Jay Leno, I could easily laugh with him just the whole time because he would never stop. When he was with David Letterman in the 80s, when he did those appearances, like Richard Lewis would do, the stand-up circuit, it was some of the funniest things I've ever heard. It really was. And if you see that on YouTube, it's really, really funny. Now, some of the things are outdated, of course, some of the topics, some of the things, but you would have to put yourself back then to know it. And I like to think that I go back for all my entertainment, and that would be one thing. Now, before 2022, I didn't really know this person too much. I didn't know of him as much. I knew his music. But I got to listen and watch some things on him. But Elvis Presley, I would have him kind of perform some things, but I saw from some footage and his movie, he was really a nice person around people. So I think I would really like him around. Adam Sandler, it's good that you mentioned that, Dragon Viper. He's probably the nicest celebrity out there. I'll be honest with you, that I've ever seen. When he was around the paparazzi, they would always be nice to him. He would be nice to them. He always puts his friends or his fellow actors in all of his movies. Mm-hmm. That control, I love that. That's keeping your friends with you. So if I had that, with me, I could learn from him, or I could enjoy his, comedy. All the acts he did. Oh, I could definitely love that. John Madden, it's good you mentioned that, Chris, because I could learn football from him. And then I'll know I'll be eating well. So I would love to, because one time when I lived down further in San Diego, it was where the Four Seasons were. And whenever the Madden Cruiser would come in and the NBC crew for Sunday Night Football, they would go
ABC.
Yeah, at that time he was on NBC, so I would see the Madden Cruiser, and I worked at the grocery store that they would go to. So when we talked about dinner, I saw I'd literally help the person out put stuff in the cruiser, where the baggage would be, but it would be groceries, and I couldn't believe how many 3 carts full of stuff. I'm just thinking to myself, damn, this is going to be a good dinner for the whole crew whenever they would have Charger games here back then. So it's good that you mentioned dinner, and that just set off a light for me. Going back to the entertainment business, Dave Chappelle, I mean, I could definitely – I loved his show. I loved his, stand-up, his acting. I would easily, listen to him all day, talk about whatever. And he's also cool with paparazzi as well. So if you mentioned Dragon Viper, if someone came up and asked for autograph or a picture, I think he'd easily do it. Or have a great, conversation with somebody. Gene Carlson mentions, I'd like to challenge Dragon Viper to correctly pick my number 1. Care to say, Dragon Viper?
Oh, I know who it is. She wants me to say it. It's my mother. She wants me to say it. Okay, Roman Stupid Reigns. There you go.
Is that the guy with the little curl in his hair?
Yeah.
In front of his head. I think that's the. I'm sorry, I don't I'm
No,
clueless. I know
you're
some
good.
things. The other ones that I have, I would learn from Magic Johnson, not only to have fun responsibly, but also about business. Like learn about because dude, he turned in his contract. He turned into being like a billionaire, I think. So I would love to learn like how he flipped all these things. Um, just learn how to have fun too, but win and never be satisfied. Always wanted something more. And I think that blends into Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant
I was gonna say,
because
could you say that about Kobe too? But yeah.
Jordan taught Kobe. Kobe wanted to know everything from Jordan. So it's almost like they're similar in a way. You know, they're both awesome with speeches and with motivational quotes and all that. Jordan would be probably the most fun to party with, along with Chuck. They used to tear it up wherever they would go. Um, Jordan would just, of course, gamble everywhere we would go. If there's a casino at the dinner we're at, or if we go to a casino, he'll shut it down. Kobe would be the one to give me motivational quotes about something or, work hard and just do whatever. The honorable mentions, I have to mention Peyton Manning. As much as I didn't like him earlier in my life, I totally respect the hell out of him now because he likes to have fun in all of his commercials, the things he does for the NFL. He was the most knowledgeable player probably out there. You always heard him, in his audibles and all that. So I would love to learn more
He
about
could
him.
probably tell you plays from 20 years ago, maybe.
Oh yeah, and he had that one thing with Ed Reed, how he baited him to go somewhere else where he could throw the ball to someone.
Yeah.
He's awesome in that way. So that was some of my honorable mentions, but there's a couple more. I don't know if Dragon Viper will like this. I can't remember, but it's Pat McAfee.
You wouldn't like that. No.
Oh well, okay, it was him. I've been watching his show or listening to his show for a good
like
while
that.
now, and I could tell me and him would kind of hit it off. But I want this whole crew with me too. I would love that because it seems like they have a great time. They go to games and do their own thing. But I recently saw a podcast with him and Up in Smoke. I think with Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes, and he was talking about his life and how like he was lucky to get to be a player in the NFL. He was lucky to get a scholarship. The things that didn't go right for him, the things that have, and just doing things your own way. He doesn't even have an agent, from what I hear. And he's out here doing So he's out here doing what, Monday Night Raw. I think almost every Monday, right? I can't
Pretty much,
recall.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
But he's out here. He's just doing everything, literally talking about everything. Chick Hearn from the Lakers, a broadcaster back then. I think I would just have him, tell stories about former Laker players, and then about life because he went through a lot of loss. He loved his wife Marge. I think he'd be a teacher of life in a way. Conan O'Brien to make me laugh, but in an odd way. He was always an oddball. He grew up as a writer, of course. So he'd write for SNL, but then he would have a lot of fun little skits where he could go places and make people smile. He was really, him and Letterman were like the remote kings of late night, where they would go out somewhere and be with people. Like Jay didn't really, well, Jay did that with like jaywalking, but I think he stole that from the other two guys that I mentioned. But anybody that would be a man of the people, I'm for that. And then my three that blends in kind of with each other is James Brown, Michael Jackson, and Prince. Because I know that I could learn about hard work from all three, about being perfect in your craft. And it would be a hell of a show if they went up and performed before dinner or something like that. Because I would get the dancing from James Brown and Michael Jackson, not so much from Prince, but Prince could do his thing. And then my dinner performance would be Sade. easily. I'd have her sing, however many songs she wanted to, and then the dinner would be made by Gordon Ramsay, and I would get to hear him yelling at his contestants or his chefs, his cooks or whatever. So I would love to have that. Was that enough for you? Another,
I'm gonna stop
yeah.
you for a second. I want to bring up Brandon's comment about Randy Cox's real top 5 is.
Traegman.
Go ahead and bring that up, Chris.
I am. Just hold on. Oh,
I'm
there you go.
surprised you didn't say Traegman. I really did. You didn't say it. I mean,
Okay, Brandon, I wanted to bring this up. Okay, I said who I wanted to spend the day with and have dinner with. I didn't say who I wanted to beat across the head. And Charlotte, I just want her out of the company. So I did not say who I wanted to beat across the head or punch in the face. So you got the wrong list there. Sorry there, buddy.
so Goldberg. Okay, I'm guessing these are all wrestlers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I think he lives somewhere around where I do. Well, not where I am, but up on a hill away from everyone. I think that's Goldberg. I would have
like
to look
Goldberg.
into it.
But Riddle, I want to beat over the head. Dom, I just want to push him down like a school kid because that's how I see him
Oh my
as.
gosh. Okay.
And Brock Lesnar, I want to punch I want to beat up. So, I like Goldberg though. That would be an Ace thing that hates Goldberg. Anyway, let's move on because I just had to point that out.
All right, so you can get your frustration out if you see some of these movies in the list that I brought up. My top 10 mob movies. I guess I'll start with mine real quick. My favorite one of all time is A Bronx Tale. For some reason, I watched that when I was not a little kid, but later on. For some reason, I really, really liked it. The race relations, the whole love story, and then the whole mob ties with Chaz, Pesci, De Niro being the father, trying to keep his son straight and away from everything, but he eventually gets caught up in everything. I just love the whole theatrical part of that movie. My second would be Goodfellas. I must have seen that just like Bronx Tale so many damn times. I just love that movie. Third would be Godfather, not 2, but 1. The fourth would be Casino. For some reason I love that movie too. Just the fact that De Niro's trying to run it, then he got an ego, and then Pesci's trying to do his thing and ruining it for everyone. Some memorable quotes in that movie. And then American Gangster, I know it's not a mob. Well, it is kind of a mob movie. I was having a hard time with the fifth, but Denzel is awesome in that. Russell Crowe being the detective with Method Man being a detective as well. That one was well done back in the day. I really enjoyed that one. Chris, I'll start off with yours. What's your favorite or top 5 mob movies?
Yeah, top 5 mob movies. If I can find it. One would be The Godfather. 2 would be Goodfellas. 3 would be, I guess you could put the second one, Godfather Part 2. Scarface. And number 5 would be Once Upon a Time in America.
See, Scarface, I'm like, is that mob or is that drug cartel?
That's what I was like.
Mom.
That's what I was trying to think of. Because I would have Scarface number 1 or 2. Randy, what's yours?
See, when you mentioned mob, you meant, it wasn't very particular about, mob from Chicago or drug, mob cartel or so this is my 5. I went with Bad Boys 2. That's actually number 2. Number 1 is Scarface. So, and then Bad Boys 2. And then a comedy that does a mob spoof called Mafia. which makes fun of mob movies.
Really?
I'm trying. I can't remember exact. It's got Jay Moore, Billy Burke, Christy Applegate, um, and Jim Abrams, directed by Jim Abrams. Anyway, it's a spoof about mob movies. A friend of mine got me to watch it one day, and I actually thought it was funny, and so I really like it. I've also got American Gangster and Casino.
That's awesome. Uh, yeah, maybe I'll check that out, Mafia, because I like those little spoofs of movies. I can think of Don't Be a Menace and Drinking Your Juice in South Central or whatever. They made fun of all those 90s movies. Not another teen movie with all those 80s teen movies or whatever, 90s teen movies.
Mafia is a movie you actually have to sit there and watch from the beginning to the end, because they do make fun of every little thing in that movie. And if you miss something, you'll miss something pretty funny. So I actually loved it.
I gotta check that out.
And it's in 1998, so you're gonna see it's Mafia with an exclamation point. But
okay,
because there's another movie out there called Mafia. I don't know what year that was done, but it's Mafia from 1998, and it's funny.
One day I'll check that out. So previewing and recapping a movie or series we want to see or have seen. For me, I'm wanting to see The Legend of Billie Jean. This movie in 1985, starring Helen Slater and her brother Christian Slater. They dream of leaving a Corpus Christi, Texas town for Vermont, out of all places. It's greener there, I guess. The Christian gets bullied by someone. Billie Jean, I don't know. She unintentionally shoots this repairman, and her and her brother goes on the run, becoming folk heroes in the process. Basically, it has a good soundtrack on there. I heard Pat Benatar's. Oh God, what was that song? It was "Love Is a Battlefield." I can't remember if it was that one or not, but I think it'd be interesting for me to see just anything in the 80s. I think that'd be awesome. So, Chris, what's something you saw lately or something you want to see, either movies, TV, video games, anything like that?
That one movie you just brought up, I want to see. Haven't really saw anything new or interesting, but that one movie you just mentioned sounds interesting.
All right, Dragon Vibe.
I watched it again. I've watched this movie like 1,000 times, but the movie The Rundown, from 2003. It's got The Rock and Sean William Scott. I just enjoy it because The Rock and Sean William Scott have so much chemistry, around each other. Huh?
That's surprising. I wouldn't think those two would fare well with each other.
Yeah, they do amazing with each other. At least in my opinion. But yeah, I really enjoyed that movie, and yeah, that's especially when you've got the Calabas and making people with their heads get fat or whatever, and yeah, have you seen it?
No, that's what I'm.
Oh, okay. Well,
I think my mom likes that one.
But all it is just pretty much The Rock is like a kind of a what do they call it? Not really hitman, but somebody that retrieves something for somebody, and he has to go into the Amazon and retrieve this one guy's son, Sean William Scott, and They go through a lot down there around in the Amazon area, and it's a really good movie. I mean, it's The Rock's third movie he's done back in 2003. So I recommend it. It's really good. I enjoy it.
I tell you what, I won't watch any of his movies with Kevin Hart. I just
Really?
find them so dumb. I don't know, and they're all the same sometimes too. I don't know. It's just a preference of mine. I don't know if it's like that or if it's more serious. I'll find out. I'll find out for myself, I guess. Quickly, our music album of the week. I'll go to Dragon Viper. What's yours?
My music album of the week. I actually had a combination of 4 albums, 4 CDs. It's the George Strait, straight out of the box set. Has all 72 songs of his earlier stuff up until I want to say 04 or 03. But yeah, 72 songs, 4 CDs. For example, Check Yes or No, Blue Clear Sky. I mean, it's all there. So I'm putting it out there. I own it. It's somewhere in my house right now, but yeah, it's an actual box set. So
I can only imagine the parties that went down for that, and having the disc changers back in the day. You didn't have to do anything, so you could have that play throughout your whole get down. Everybody can get rowdy and howdy and all that. Sorry. What's your music album?
The only ways that country music dancers can do.
Oh, it just reminds me of the video. If you ever seen the video of Hank Williams Jr.'s "All My Rowdy Friends,"
yep.
That's what if you could play like one song, like that's one of my favorite country songs of all time. I can imagine you have a party like that, and you could just have 4 CDs going throughout the whole night.
Didn't they play that for Monday Night Football?
See, that's why I love that too, because when I grew up in the 90s and 2000s, that was the song, but they tailor-made it for the NFL, for Monday Night Football. And for years, I never heard the original. Never heard Hank Williams Jr.'s song.
Huh.
And I finally was like, oh, wait, that sounds like this. And
then you play it side by side, and you're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's just a childhood memory that's locked forever. Chris, you have a music album of the week?
I do. Kind of with On This Day and kind of album of the day. Prince released Purple Rain album, which had a When Doves Cry, I believe, if I recall that. I'll look back at it, but
I know that was 1984, like one of his big. I think his biggest album was probably that one.
It was back in 1984, yeah. Prince recorded When Doves Cry from the album Purple Rain. It was a worldwide hit and first American #1 single, topping the charts for 5 weeks.
And I've been watching like YouTube and whatever, but it's funny on GTA Vice City. If you play as the ice cream man, and you're not selling ice cream, by the way, you're selling something else around the streets. If you put the music on, it's literally When Doves Cry, but it's in an ice cream kind of way.
Oh.
So it's funny. I caught it. I finally caught it one day watching a video where the guy's going around selling whatever that is an ice cream to people on the street, and it's like, wait, dun, 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 dun. And I finally got it after a couple of days. I'm like, dude, it's Prince. My music album of the week, I'm kind of, whatever. You know who I am. It's the first album solo for Gwen Stefani back in 2000. I want to say 3 or 4, called Love, Angel Music Baby. I really wondered whenever she would go solo how well she would do. I think she rocked it on this album. Not really the other albums. I know she has a country album coming out, I believe. I saw it at before the Super Bowl. They had her, and I think help me out. Who was the guy with her?
Blake Shelton.
No, Blake Shelton. Yeah, they were doing a performance. Thank you. I didn't recognize the song or whatever, but it's like, damn, Gwen is doing country now. That's crazy. So when she did this album, Away from No Doubt back in the day, it was my thing 20 years ago or plus. What You're Waiting For was the first song. Rich Girl, Holla Back Girl, which everybody knows. Cool, Bubble Pop Electric, Luxurious, A Long Way to Go. Those are just some of the hit songs that I remember that I know and like. I could go back and listen to all those things. And it was just weird having her, go solo. And it actually worked out for her. Chris, we have time to do a little trivia or no?
Let me see. Probably not. I don't know. I mean,
Okay,
it's up to you.
we'll wait for next time because
Yeah, I'm seeing the timer at 1.
Oh, there it is.
1:11. So
I am the
1 hour,
king
11
of
minutes.
mismanagement of time. If you saw Monday's replacement show, you could just put the blame on me with Callan and I. Chris, I think we'll get out of here, but before we do, we'll give our final thoughts. Chris.
Yeah, thanks everyone for watching and tuning in. A couple updates on shows, kind of. Christy Wilson said, "Don't forget her, James." About her, James.
Oh yeah,
She's part of
and Brandon, right?
Yeah,
Brandon as well. That's
and
right.
then J-Max said on May 4th, Coast to Coast Entertainment Network will be live streaming the Backyard Brew games live from the Lane Event Center. It's the Oregon division of a national event. So we'll be streaming that.
I think he mentioned it or what it is, but it's like cornhole among other things that you would do outside in a backyard, I'm guessing. Right?
Horseshoes.
I believe so. Go look it up.
Oh boy. Is there anything to do in Oregon like that or no? Everybody stays inside because it's raining all the time?
We camp too and fish and hunt. So, well, I don't hunt.
Nice.
But...
Nice. Anything else, Chris, for the network or whomever?
That's pretty much it.
All right, Dragon Viper, what's your final thoughts?
Yeah, thanks everybody for watching. You might not see me for about a week or two because I'm going on vacation. Gonna go see my kid and my parents down in Arizona, down in Tucson. So if I end up on here, it'd be a little bit of a miracle. But yeah, I probably won't be on for a week or two. So that'll be fun. So other than that, thank you for everybody for watching. And I hope everybody has a great night and a great weekend.
All right, Christy Wilson, if you're there still, join us, if you could, a couple of Fridays for this show. We'd love to have you. Or anybody else who would want to join on, let us know. Yeah. Come on down. You're on The Price is Right. All right. Yeah, great show. Good to be back. We had some great topics, just thanks to Randy, of course, not I. That's why I say co-host, not just one host. We're all in this together. That sounds like McAfee, don't it, Chris?
It kind of does, yeah.
How he ends the show? We're all in this thing together. Everybody put their hands in 1, 2, 3 together. Goodbye. Oh God, I listened to too much of this show, but all right, everybody. We'll see everybody later, and thank you for watching the Entertainment Hour here on Coast to Coast Entertainment Network, and we'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.